Hello everyone, I'm tribalkai and welcome to the eedi-H channel. This video is dedicated to James Humphreys. If you'd like to support the channel as well, then you can visit Patreon and donate with the link in the description below. Failing that, a like, comment and subscribe is always appreciated. Now, let's have a look at everyone's opening hands. Turn 1 is a land and Wayfarer's Bauble from Greedo. We draw Toski, Bearer of Secrets. Let's throw down the Rejuvenating Springs. We can go Soaring into the Signet. Birchlaw Rangers is the first elf from Valdrieg. And we're all getting into turn 1 plays. A Ravenous Squirrel from Billy Kills and his Squirrel deck. Wayfarer's Bauble being cracked by Greedo. And for us it is a Crafty Cut Purse. Not sure. Yeah, maybe we can do that in response to some Chatterfang shenanigans. So in that case, it's probably a wise idea to get our commander into play. Not too worried about Swords and Path early in the game, thanks to Ward 2 on that. Let's get a tap land out with Polluted Delta as well. And the second commander of the game is Miara, Thorn of the Glade for Val. And a Rampant Growth from Kills. And the ramp continues for Greedo in a Warm Power Stone this time. Now a Shamanic Revelation, so we're making some decent draws here. Let's get down Castle Vantress, and I think Solemn Simulacrum is good, because then we're more likely to be able to hold up the Cackling Counterpart. So making a green mana with the Solemn Simulacrum, and we'll swing in. Don't think this has Death Touch, does it? Yeah, we'll swing in with our commander towards Billy Kills. The Squirrel token deck is slightly slower than the elf decks, but still a very quick one. So we'll start chipping away at him. And hopefully at some point we'll be able to steal a bunch of squirrel tokens with the Crafty Cut Purse, and that'll set us up nicely for the Shamanic Revelation. Llanowar Tribe for the elf player. And there is Chatterfang, Squirrel General, so we might be seeing a bunch of tokens come down over there before we know it. Have to be wary of that from next turn onwards. Then more Artifact Ramp in Boros Locket. And that's a really good one that you don't see much of. Sword of Sinew and Steel can blow up artifacts and planeswalkers. Noteworthy that it doesn't have to target the player's artifacts and planeswalkers that it hits. It can just hit anyone and blow up any artifact and or planeswalker. Alright, not disappointed to see a land there. We will play that out, and I think we're okay just playing at instant speed from this point onwards. Maybe Cackling Counterpart onto a Solemn wouldn't be the worst thing at the end of Greedo's turn. So with that being the case, we'll just pass at that. Beast Whisperer for Valdrieg. We'll see who outraces us to death here, the elves or the squirrels. Straight into a Llanowar Elves, which will draw them a card. A Field of the Dead. And an Earthcraft from Billy Kills, so no doubt setting up the Earthcraft combo with Squirrel Nest. And then deciding to just leave their creatures out of the red zone and pass over to Greedo. Hanweir Garrison, another way of making tokens. I'm wondering if it's worth going for Crafty Cut Purse and making copies of the Crafty Cut Purse instead, because this only lasts until the end of turn. And now a sword getting equipped to there. And then I think we're going to make more use of mana from Cackling Counterpart and Solemn than we are from doing anything too crazy with the Crafty Cut Purse. I'm just going to count as lucky if we can get any tokens with the Cut Purse at all. So let's go for more mana here. And Kills is holding up priority with that single mana over there. So Solemn comes into play, we'll get one of each basic, and then we might as well scry with the Castle Vantress, making sure to do that after shuffling with the Solemn Simulacrum, of course. Azuri's Predation, well, that is a pretty damn good one. Clone Legion isn't terrible either. Yep, gonna keep both of those on top. I want to draw into Azuri's Predation on our turn. So we obviously draw into that. Let's cast this straight away. And then in response, Kills is going for something here. Only has 1 mana available. Is going for -X onto the Adrix. This is when it becomes the target of a spell or ability. Yeah, what's the exact wording on this? When it becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, counter it unless they pay 2. Yeah, so they can't do that. We still get to keep our commander in play, and we'll get double the Azuri's Predation tokens. We won't get quite as many thanks to them losing those creatures, so it was still the right play, even though we don't lose our commander here. So the Azuri's Predation resolves, and we fight all of those. Noteworthy that we only fight with the original ones that would have come into play. The other additional ones that came in with our commander do not fight anything. Miara will trigger. They can pay life. They can pay a mana into that to lose a life and draw a card. And they do that twice, so they go up to 8. Unfortunately, they're stuck on 2 lands over there, which wouldn't have mattered if they'd kept their elves in play. But obviously we have seen to it that they didn't. Swinging fully at the Squirrels player, and this will be 8 damage. Argument to be made for us going for Clone Legion there, because we could have had a few Beast Whisperers and stuff like that for the card draw, but I think forcing our opponent's hand for a board wipe isn't necessarily the worst thing. And this way we can also draw cards with the Shamanic Revelation as well. So I think this is the right play to make. Just need to try and dodge board wipes. Finhorn Elder taps for 2 mana, and they did manage to make a 3rd land luckily. A Viscerous Seer for Billy Kills. And then it is another sword from the Boros player. This time it is protection from red and blue. It can shock things and draw cards. Another one, pro white and red. So missing protection from green, unfortunately. They equip the Fire and Ice, so they can get through to Billy Kills if they want to. But instead, swinging in towards Valdrieg. If they're after getting rid of the Mana Dork here, they could swing in at Billy Kills and shoot the Mana Dork out of the way. We don't have to worry about the shock from the Sword of Fire and Ice here onto our commander, because they won't be able to target it thanks to the ward. And when they swing in with that, they get a couple of humans into play. And one of those goes in at Billy Kills, one goes in at Val. And not getting rid of the sack outlet, curiously. Instead, pointing the Sword of Fire and Ice at us. And I imagine our Sol Ring will go down to the Sword of Sinew and Steel. And it certainly does. So we could just go for Toski this turn. I do like Shamanic Revelation, though. Yeah, we'll play that. We'll be able to get a land into play. I don't think we need to worry too much about holding up Crafty Cut Purse during our opponent's turns. So we'll see what we draw into first. We gain a lot of life doing this as well. Alright, and there we are. Noteworthy, I will keep pointing it out until everyone has caught up. The Cyclonic Rift has been unbanned along with all of our house bans. We're just seeing how everything plays out at the moment. So we'll see how we fare here and if we actually need to overload Cyclonic Rift or not. No infinite hand size here, unfortunately. So let's just get a fetch into play. And I think we can hold some things up here. The Biovisionary could be a means of us winning. Yeah, we could go Biovisionary and somehow do some tricks with the Foretell. Yeah, so I think we foretell the Mystic Reflection. That way we will not have to discard quite as much, and it's also protected from exile against wheels and stuff like that. The Biovisionary isn't protected, but yeah, I think that's okay. We can pass at that, although is there anything else that we want to do for just 2 mana? I suppose we could just get down the Sylvan Library. And then of all the things that are going on, I hate to knock out Greedo. He hasn't had the best of luck today, but yeah, he is the biggest threat at the table, so I'll have to go in at him. The other two have way less mana. I'm going to continue to pile in at Billy Kills. There is 3 mana being held up, so if there's a 1 mana removal spell for the Adrix, they will be able to get that on us. And I was just wondering about the only thing that would be able to benefit Billy Kills there is Arachnogenesis, and I don't think I've ever seen anyone else play Arachnogenesis. Felt like I was the only one in the world who plays it. So some tokens coming down into play. They'll be able to get rid of our commander here with that. They get themselves 5 tokens. So just ganging up on our commander and then chumping everything else. They don't want us to lose any Solemn Simulacrums. They won't lose any of their spiders due to damage not being dealt to spiders this turn. So we lose our commander there. And we're going to have some setting up to do, unfortunately. If we'd kept our Sol Ring in play, we might have been able to go... It would have been Biovisionary and the Mystic Reflection, and then maybe the Clone Legion. They all would have come in as copies of the Biovisionary. Yeah, it's going to take us a little while longer to set up yet. So they managed to keep Greedo in the game there. I'm just wondering if we can somehow still cobble together a Biovisionary win. If enough creatures swing in at us with Arachnogenesis, we could have them all enter as Biovisionaries. Anyway, Wildwood Channeler coming down for the elf player. Then some Scry with the Viscera Seer, sacrificing a spider token. And Chatterfang coming back into play again. Jorkadine the Prevailer. And they definitely have Metalcraft over there. We just need to hope that they don't have haste. And they do not. We jumped up to 80 life previously from the Shamanic Revelation, so we can take a decent hit here. And they do go in at us with the 9/7, making a couple of tokens. There will be the destruction of an artifact. And yeah, we're the only other player with artifacts in play, so they'll probably go after our Signet. They go in at us with the tokens as well. The Shock is going to go onto one of our Solemn Simulacrums. They are not going after our Signet, instead blowing up a Solemn Simulacrum, so we will draw a couple of cards here. So we draw ourselves into a Reflecting Pool and a Beast Within. And a Gaia's Cradle, that is one of the better draws that we could have made here, because I would very much like to go Biovisionary this turn. We're going to have to try and have it survive around the table. If anyone swings in towards us, which we might be able to encourage them to do, we could go Arachnogenesis, making enough tokens that will be copies of the Biovisionary, thanks to the Mystic Reflections. We draw Cultivate, Prismatic Vista. We can't shuffle anything around if we play the Gaia's Cradle this turn, so let's put Vista on top. Might want to shuffle with Cultivate, so I'll keep that in hand. Play the Gaia's Cradle. Noteworthy that there is an Urborg in play as well, so Gaia's Cradle will tap for mana even after a board wipe. Tapping it down for 12, and we might be able to just get the win this turn maybe. All depends on whether or not there is exile over here. And then we will attempt to make copies of the Biovisionary. This is all possible thanks to the Gaia's Cradle coming down this turn. So we'll see if anyone's got removal for it. There's a Swords to Plowshares from Greedo. I'm sure Billy Kill's just untapped to land with Earthcraft, but maybe not. So let's go for Flashback to try and go for the Biovisionary. Not sure we're going to be able to win this turn now. But Cackling Counterpart, we can flashback for 7 mana. And now untapping a land, so maybe they've got Beast Within or something. And they've gone for Verdant Command, which will make some Squirrel tokens, which they will then be able to... Yeah, it's just 1 mana for this, so they'll be able to get rid of the Biovisionary with that. So maybe... Cyclonic Rift doesn't necessarily help us here. It does let us keep our Biovisionary though, and we can still maybe get rid of a player or two Yeah, probably just one player. Let's go for the Cyclonic Rift. They can't go for Chatterfang in response because they don't control any squirrel tokens just yet. And now untapping lands again with the Earthcraft. And just deciding to leave one swamp up, so maybe there's a, what is it called, Vampiric Tutor or something like that over there. So it does look like we end up making a token of the Biovisionary. We'll lose the original one to Swords to Plowshares. Another land gets untapped from the previous time it was put on the stack. Mystic Reflection fizzles here because it doesn't have the legal target of the original. And we're just going to have to hope that we can get into something to do with this Biovisionary now. So I think we try to get rid of Bootleg Greedo again. And then the other two can swing in towards kills. So Greedo goes down there. We'll just hold up Beast Within, Arachnogenesis. We can hold up the Theoretical Duplication as well. Discard a Reflecting Pool down to hand size. Wirewood Channeler coming down again after the wipe. And now we see Viscera Seer again. And there's the Earthcraft, which I have half a mind to blow up with Beast Within. Now tapping down the Viscera Seer to untap a land. And doing it again with another swamp. And there is Scurry Oak. I have this in my deck, and not only do I love the artwork on that, but it is Mazarek is the commander called that combos with this. If you have a sack outlet, you can kill off your tokens that come into play with it and put infinite plus counters on your stuff. I can't see a combo just yet, so I'll allow it into play. Then they're going for more Earthcraft stuff. And this time it is their commander, so can this sacrifice itself? Yeah, it can sacrifice itself to get rid of the Biovisionary maybe. I mean, if they're putting all this effort into getting rid of Biovisionary, I don't necessarily mind because we can just get rid of them in the red zone instead. So we'll encourage them to tap this down to make a black mana with the Earthcraft. And we'll go Beast Within onto Earthcraft. That does evolve the Scurry Oak, so they'll get another squirrel into play, which could make a difference because then they won't have to sacrifice the Chatterfang to get rid of Biovisionary. Curiously, they didn't decide to make a black mana with the Earthcraft before it left though. Not sure if they've got a land to make this turn, maybe they do. Evolves again from the Chatterfang entering. So this time making two squirrels, because obviously Chatterfang doubles up your squirrel tokens. Okay, just a bunch of stuff on top again that we don't care about. So I think we're okay to just put this stuff on top. We'll shuffle them around with the Prismatic Vista, go and get an island with that. Noteworthy that it is the last basic island in the deck. 13 mana from the Gaia's Cradle, let's get our commander into play. Then I think we might as well go Clone Legion and make use of all that green mana that we just generated, and then we can just hold up everything else. I think I'm going to turn in sideways at Billy Kills this turn, try and encourage him to make some chumps. It's noteworthy that we will have access to black mana as well for the Chatterfang, thanks to the Urborg here. So that is a bunch of evolve triggers from the Scurry Oak. And it doesn't matter which Chatterfang we keep, we only get one thanks to the legendary rule. The Scurry Oak evolves a bunch of times, giving us a bunch of tokens. So we'll say yes to the Scurry Oak, and yeah, we put Chatterfang. Yeah, we click Chatterfang first to make additional squirrels, and then Adrix, and we should get 4 each time. And yeah, we got 4 from the first lot, so because we're getting additional tokens and then double tokens, it's yeah, bit of a thing to wrap your head around, but hopefully we'll be able to do something with all these tokens. Alright, so just 1 mana floating, and we've got some decent stuff to do at instant speed, so we will go through to the red zone from here. And we'll turn in towards Billy Kills, hold back the Biovisionary. Yeah, we'll swing in with the Solemn as well. So that is 46 damage going in towards Billy Kills. He does have to make blocks here. And deciding to keep his beast in play, he blocks the Solemn Simulacrum. And then instead decides to put the Scurry Oak in the way of the Solemn. And the beast goes down to a 4/4 beast, not blocking with the Chatterfang. And still managing to take Billy Kills down, so he must have miscalculated there. Didn't want to lose his Chatterfang, but might have survived at 1 or 2 points of life. Although it's not looking hopeful for either of our opponents regardless. We may draw a card with the Solemn going down. And we get into Rex Sage. So we'll just pass it over to Val and see if he's able to do anything here. Not worthy that we do lose access to black for the Chatterfang here, thanks to the Urborg leaving play. Now Numa coming into play, and Finhorn Elder. Then Fierce Empath will allow them to search for a big creature. Just drawing to a bunch of mana again. We'll turn everything in sideways. And there we go, he goes down to -60. So there we are, that was a pretty convincing one for us, probably thanks to the fast start that we got off to with the Sol Ring and the Signet and everything. Believe it or not, this is one of the only commanders that is available from Commander 2021. I don't know what Magic Online is doing with the C21 set. They're just drip feeding it out to all of us for some reason. I'm very much looking forward to playing some of those Commander 2021 cards, although by the time we get to play them on Magic Online, the interest in them would have dwindled drastically, so I don't know if I'll even bother. Hopefully you all enjoyed this visit to Adrix and Nev regardless. Be sure to leave it a thumbs up and subscribe if you did, and you can support via Patreon through the link in the description below, just like Valdrigue, Bootleg Greedo and Billy Kills do. Massive thank you to them for playing and for helping me to get great content for all of you. I'm tribalkai on the eedi-H channel. Thank you for watching.